AITA for serving vegan food at my wedding. My fiance and I are getting married in June next year. We're both vegans, and although we don't judge those who are not vegan, we wanted to serve vegan food at our wedding. We found a vegan caterer. When we sent out invitations, we added a note saying that the food will be vegan. We also asked that everyone who has any specific dietary requirements let us know. The note made it clear that anyone who needed a specific diet would be catered for. Soon after the invitations went out, my aunt phoned us in a huff. "My uncle does not want vegan food, he needs to eat meat," she said. I asked what his dietary requirements are, thinking that he has a specific medical condition and cannot eat a vegan meal. She said his reasons are cultural and he must eat meat. I said that's not really a good enough reason. We all come from the same culture and it's not like it's a sin to not eat meat with every single meal. I explained to her that I wouldn't really mind him eating meat, but one, it means I'll have to bring in a new caterer for one meal, which will be expensive, and two, I don't want to pay for meat if I don't have to. Again, I'm not judging non-vegans, but it doesn't sit right with me. Weeks went by. The only people who had dietary requirements were 3 cousins, who eat a low-carb diet. My vegan caterer came up with vegan, low-carb meals, and my cousins were happy with this plan. Upon hearing this, my aunt phoned me again, angrier this time, asking why my uncle can't be catered for because he doesn't like vegan food. I refused again. I told her that the food consists of things I know he eats anyway: vegetables, coconut, nuts, etc. I went through a list of ingredients I knew would be in the food and she admitted he has no intolerances/allergies to any of that stuff. What's the big deal with him skipping meat one time? I told her that if he's so adamant about the meat he can buy himself McDonald's and eat it at the kiddie table. Now my aunt isn't talking to me, and is instead talking shit about me to all my family members. I told her that they are welcome to simply not attend the wedding if they're going to bitch about the food. I understand that veganism is not possible or sustainable for many people in the long term, but come on, it's one meal that is free. AITA, I don't want to seem like a pushy vegan, but I also don't want to pay for meat unless I have to. Again, it's one meal out of their whole life. Turns out, over 3,000 comments, many of which had to be removed for needless insults and hostility, is more than enough. NTA, like you said, it is one meal and it's free, and most importantly, it is your wedding. Exactly. Would it make sense to go to an Indian wedding and fuss that you're not served tamales or cheeseburgers? How many weddings has the op attended and had to make do with a side salad and a little dish of green beans that she hopes weren't cooked with bacon? A vegan caterer is going to know how to make something that is filling and tasty to the vast majority of people. It'll be fine. NTA, your wedding for one thing. If people don't want to eat vegan, they simply don't have to eat the free meal. And this is coming from a meat-eating guy. Omnivores can eat vegan meals. Vegans can't eat meals with meat. NTA, even Ron Swanson would keep his mouth shut on this and just eat a paunch burger before and after. They have no class. NTA, my cousin served vegan food at her wedding. It was delicious. Your aunt is being a pain. AITA for telling my family that if they want Thanksgiving, they'll have to get off their asses and plan it. Usually for Thanksgiving, we head out to go see family. Someone else always hosts. We typically help sponsor the host by paying for cleanup, etc. Our home is just too small to host the 30+ folks who typically show up through the day. This year that's obviously not happening. Other than us talking about not doing the usual, Thanksgiving didn't come up until yesterday. My kids have the week off from online school, and I was doing a puzzle with them before dinner when my husband walks in after work and says, "So did we get a turkey?" I looked at him and said, "Well, I know I didn't. Did you?" He stared at me blankly and said, "No." "What do you mean? Do we need to get one still? Is it being delivered?" I shrugged and said I don't know nothing about no turkey. The kids and he looked so confused, so I helped them along and said I didn't buy anything. I didn't plan anything. No one said anything to me about Thanksgiving. Nobody offered to help meal plan, cook anything, do anything. He blew up yelling at me about how I should have obviously known. I said, "Why? I've literally never planned or made a Thanksgiving dinner in my life. The most I've ever done was help clean up or maybe peel peel the potato. Asked him why didn't he plan anything, why didn't the kids plan anything, why is everyone waiting until the last minute and dumping it on me. He just sputtered and yelled and stormed off to his office and left me with the kids. We all had dinner, the kids cleaned up, and I was relaxing with some wine and a book after they all went to bed. My husband tore into me about how he can't believe I left this all to the last minute, now there will be no Thanksgiving, how could I not be heartbroken to do this to the kids, etc. So I just looked at him and said, why didn't you plan? Why did you wait to the last minute to ask me? He told me I was being a fucking bitch for no reason and stomped off to go sleep in his office. He left without saying a word this morning. I followed up with my kids and asked them if they wanted Thanksgiving. They said they didn't care because the food isn't that good most of the time anyway. Before you ask, yup, I work as well. We split chores but there's no hard line. I do some, he does some. We both cook, and the oldest cooks as well. I just don't get why Thanksgiving is on my plate. Why, just because I'm a woman? Lamal fuck that. ETA, thanks for the judgments, all. A lot of people seem to think that my kids are like toddlers or something. They're old enough to help make the menu for dinners, help with cooking, etc. It's weird how many people came up with info here, like I was getting down on the floor playing rather than me and the kids sitting at the table doing a puzzle. Anyway, I told my husband that if he wants to do some traditional Thanksgiving with all the fattening, carby, salty, beige food, he can go ahead and plan it and I'll help in the same capacity as always. If he wants me and the kids to cook something together, aka a normal, average Thursday, I'll continue with what was scheduled. The kids genuinely do not care. Thanksgiving doesn't mean anything to them. One of them has been asking for us to stay home for years. One of them barely touches the food as it, and the other one only likes to go so she can see her cousins, and she sees them all the time anyway. The middle kid already dug out another puzzle for us and they're just happy they're off school. Also, we don't do Christmas. Check your biases, folks. Don't leap to conclusions based on what you want to have happened. I don't know nothing about no turkey. Love that line, NTA. NTA. A phrase I hate more than anything is it goes without saying, because often it really doesn't. This is the attitude your husband has taken with you and Thanksgiving. Dumping all of this on you and blaming you is wrong. If he had come to you and discussed it, then this would be different. But he hasn't, and is acting like an asshole. Seriously, how hard is it to say, oh, you're right. I just assumed you would take care of Thanksgiving and there's no reason I should have done that. But it's really important to me. I know it's super last minute, but do you think we can still pull off a Thanksgiving meal? Would you be interested in helping me out? But no, it goes without saying that it's mommy work. NTA. If he's so concerned about having Thanksgiving dinner he can cook it or go buy a platter from somewhere. If you've never done it before, why would he just assume you would? He should have talked about it with you if that's what he wanted so you guys could figure it out together. Literally all it is themed food. It's not like you cancelled Christmas and you can eat boxed macaroni while being thankful for stuff. NTA. Jesus please ooze, the stones on this man. Sounds like someone has some sexism jammed into that turkey where the stuffing ought to be. Honestly, if it was a situation where you were a sub and did all or even most of the cooking, then it could have been a mild YTA. Per your post I see that you share those duties, so you're morally well in the clear there. But telling your wife she's being a fucking bitch for calmly asking why you weren't allowed to do the exact same thing he was doing, aka, nothing, and then literally stomping off to his room, good god. That sounds, to put it mildly, extremely unattractive in a life partner. Exactly. Good job on Op for just mirroring the questions back. You want one? Go buy the groceries, plan, discuss, something, anything other than assuming wifey is going to do it all because she's female. Please dude, stay in your office and the rest of the family can eat whatever that day. Doesn't sound like anyone else is butthurt about not having some goddamn turkey. AITA for taking my parents' side when my brother came out of the closet. My family has always been liberal and have not been shy about other people knowing it. Like they would have the who they are voting for signs of the front porch. Everyone in the family is also fine with LGBT+ community and supports it. So my 16M brother, 19M came out as gay today to the whole family. My parents smiled and said congratulations and we will always love you / support him. Then the whole thing was dropped and we moved on with our day. My brother has been angry that my parents didn't have a bigger reaction and has been giving them the cold shoulder. He came into my room and was ranting to me about it. He wanted me to go with him to confront my parents. That's when I said, dude, they don't care about who you like to bang. Their response was fine. Isn't this the end goal? For people to not care about people's sexual orientation and be treated the same? You know they support this. What kind of response did you want? Them jumping for joy? Tears? Being angry? Well, he called me an asshole and I wanted to know if I was. Nah. Even families who are liberal toward LGBTQ people as a concept can be surprisingly uncool when it's their family member coming out. Your brother probably spent a lot of time building that moment up in his mind and worrying about the outcome, and he probably hoped for a reaction commensurate with how emotional it was for him. That doesn't make him an asshole, but it doesn't make the rest of you assholes, either, for just being accepting and moving on. Nah. It takes a lot of courage to share this information with family and be open about yourself. But this may have been a moment your brother built up or idealized for some time now. NTA. If we want to normalize one's preference, whatever that may be, then there's no need for bells and whistles. Just a loving acceptance, right? No need to shout from the rooftops what should be considered normal. I feel like I can relate. I came out as bi to my mom, and I expected one of the two things. Either, I hate you, you're disgusting, or, I love you, you're still my son and the hugs and stuff. What happened was, yeah, I'm fine with it. I was kinda happy that my mom's okay with it, but also kinda disappointed there wasn't a bigger reaction. Maybe the pop culture media has made coming out into a very dramatic event. Can see your brother's POV, but he's just being petty now. Your parents support him. What else does he want? Nah. I gave the wrong judgment. It was a typo. Edit 2. Thanks for all the awards and these many upvotes. These are my first awards ever.